It's more than just your output, more than a bike. When you hear your shout out, you know it's all right. Put on your magic pants and let's go. We're cruising into the power zone. Clip in, set yourself free. Come on and take a ride with me. You know what you need to know and what's it all about. Everything you need, it's on the Clip Out.
Welcome to the Clip Out Podcast, episode 399. This is Crystal O'Keefe.
And this is Tom O'Keefe.
What was that look?
I don't know. I don't know what's going on in my head sometimes. A lot of times. Until it comes out of my mouth.
Uh-oh.
And then it's like, oh dear.
Oh dear, indeed.
No, you might say, oh dear. I don't.
I know. You don't care. You just say whatever pops out of there.
Oh, I've been doing that this week.
I know. Let's not get into it.
Maybe we'll save that for the Patreon.
Yes.
The fist fight I got in with some on the internet.
Yes. Let's save that, please. Please.
I shut him up real quick, though, didn't I?
You did.
Oh, that was pretty epic. So
About Peloton.
I thought perhaps we should start with discussing Helper Be Tina.
I think that is a really nice idea.
See, sometimes good things fall out of my mouth.
That's true, Tom.
Yeah.
That's true. Well, for those of you who have been listening to the show for a while, you are quite familiar with us bringing up Helper Be Tina. She writes the TCO top 5 every week, in addition to a ton of other articles she's written over the last couple of years. And she is having an awful week.
Yeah.
She took her son to the hospital on Sunday. They had all been sick with the flu at her house, and he was just feeling kind of weak. So they go to the hospital, and then the hospital starts checking on him, and they immediately find all of his white blood cell counts are off. So they admit him, they do a bunch more tests, and by 4:00 on Monday, they were like, he has leukemia.
Woof.
He had been planning to go look at colleges this weekend. He has a 4.6 GPA. Like, his mind was like finishing high school, ready to start college. And now they're like, we have a 2-year treatment plan for you. It is going to be a real rough ride because the hospital that they have him at is 2 hours away from their house. And I have no idea how they're going to swing that. It's also out of network for their insurance.
Yikes.
So why are we bringing this up? One, please send however you think of them, good thoughts, prayers, etc., to Tina Freiling and her son Mason. But also, I have posted in a lot of places a GoFundMe for her to help offset those awful, crazy expenses that she will be incurring. And if there's anything you can do, please donate. If it's $3, it's $3.
Yeah,
that's helpful.
Sure.
So please do that. And if you can't, I understand. But either way, would you please share? Like, that's still helpful. You may not think that's doing much, but getting it in front of other people is how you keep those fundraisers going. So she means a lot to me personally, to you, Tom. Mm-hmm. She is part of our inner circle, but she also is just a wonderful Peloton friend and has been for a long time. She's done a lot for this community. And if you look through her Facebook, you will see that every time something comes up, she's posting fundraisers for other people. She's an amazing attorney. She's an amazing mom. They need all the help they can get.
Absolutely.
So that is all of that.
Okay. So pivoting back to normal episode stuff. What, pray tell, do you have in store for people this week?
Well, we have an interview with Rob Torino. Now, he is a member of the Peloton community also, and he feels that he is very good at supporting people. So we get into talking about that, but we also hear his very interesting Peloton journey. He's just a fun guy to talk to.
Yeah.
Had a lot of fun talking to Rob. And we're going to talk to him. But after that, we also have several things coming up in the Peloton news. We're going to talk about this crazy superhero challenge that Peloton did. Crazy because it did not go the way they had planned. If there was even planning, I'm not even clear.
It's a jump ball.
We're going to talk about also the new Get to Know Me challenge. We're going to do a little bit of a recap from the earnings call last week. We're going to talk about the audio issues that Peloton London has been experiencing. Not to mention, we have a visit from Dr. Jenn. One of our listeners had specifically emailed me and asked me for Dr. Jenn tips on her daughter going vegan.
Yes.
So we've got some help for her.
We should be clear. The daughter wants to go vegan.
Oh, yeah, she wants to. And the mom wants to be supportive, not like the mom is making.
The mom is not imposing this on the child.
No.
Yes.
We also have several in the news instructor updates, like what's going on with Hannah Corbin, what's going on with Eric Yeager. We have a bunch of content to discuss with you. We're going to talk about the apparel sale that's happening. And I think that is all for the main episode.
Awesome. Well, over on the Patreon, we're going to be talking about racing catheters.
Yes. And little background, we got into quite a deep dive on how people go long distances without peeing themselves. And so then one of our listeners gave us some ideas. So this racing catheter is one of those.
It's a thing. We'll talk about that. We'll also talk about what's going on with exponential fitness.
And boy, is it a drama.
It is. Like I feel like we have a Netflix documentary in our future about exponential fitness, and they own a lot of franchise
licensing to lots of franchises.
Right. What?
Pure Bar,
Club.
I think Cycle Bar,
Club Pilates. Was that one?
Yes, that was one.
Stretch.
I don't know. Remember the stretch one?
It was like Stretch Bar or something. But
there's a bunch.
There's a whole bunch, and so that's pretty fascinating.
It is quite the journey.
Yes, and of course, Peloton rolled out Teams last week, and the weirdos and perverts
they are already out and about,
already on there.
They are showing themselves
already on there, and of course, we'll do some deep diving on Peloton's Super Bowl spot.
Awesome.
So also while we're here.
That's all going to be on the Patreon.
That is all on the Patreon. So if you're not familiar, you skip this part a lot. But over on Patreon, it's patreon.com/theclipout. It's $5 a month. You get all sorts of bonus content. We record an extra episode every week with just stuff we didn't have time to get to in the main episode. You also get ad-free episodes for the main episode. And if we get them early, you get them early. And it just helps out the show, helps fund the cost of editing and web hosting and writing the articles and all the things like that. So if you have the means, it's just a nice way to help out. And we try to give you a little extra for it. Also, you can find us on Facebook at facebook.com/theclipout. While you're there, like the page, join the group. You can sign up for the newsletter over at theclipout.com, where we will send you a weekly newsletter with all the links that we throw at you throughout the course of the show. And then, of course, you can watch all of these over on YouTube at youtube.com/theclipout. So there's all that. Let's dig in, shall we?
We shall.
Peloton in the news.
Peloton began their superhero challenge, and I have in the headline that it turns into Kryptonite. Now, for fellow nerds out there, I feel like I need to acknowledge that not only is Kryptonite something that it would affect Superman, not Captain America, right? But also that Kryptonite and Superman are DC properties, whereas Captain America is a Marvel property. So
thank God we got that straightened out day one.
I wanted to have a little superhero joke in the headline, but I feel like I need to acknowledge to my fellow nerds that I do understand.
You are mixing comic book metaphors.
Yes.
Okay.
So don't at me. I am very much aware.
Thank God.
But like, what am I supposed to say? Like, what Captain America doesn't really have like a weakness in the same way.
True.
You know?
True.
And his arch nemesis villain is the Red Skull. And so to compare Peloton to the Red Skull, which is an escaped Nazi, seems a bit strong.
Yeah.
So
we got enough like
real Nazis.
Yeah.
Yes.
There's plenty of that happening in the world today.
Yes. I just wanted people to know that.
Okay.
So now, Peloton Superhero Challenge. I also don't want to put in the headline complete dog.
That's fair.
Yeah.
I appreciate you kind of, soft pedaling that a little bit. You don't want to be too mean.
There's so much complete dog in the world. We need to soft pedal.
That's true. That's true. So here's the short version, and then we can dig into the longer version.
Okay.
Short version is Peloton released this challenge and they had indicated that when the challenge dropped, you could get, your regular bronze and silver and gold badges as typical, right? Okay. When you hear superhero challenge and there's going to be a special collection.
Right.
I don't know. What's the first thing you think of?
That there will be special new classes designed
wow.
around
You don't
this.
even take Peloton and you thought that. That's amazing. so
especially for something as high profile as partnering with the MCU.
Well, now that you mention that, not only is it high profile for Peloton, they mentioned it. They pushed the movie on the earnings call last week. They legit were go Captain America moviegoers. You know what I mean? So they clearly know this is a big deal. That's important.
Right.
Because you need to understand that the classes that they included in the challenge were completely lackluster. They were classes from the entire last year. There were 6 classes.
Not new content.
No, there was one class that was from this year. Everything else was from last year. And there were only 6, but you needed 7 to get a gold badge. Now, I know people out there listening, but they dropped another class. Yes, they did. And it was a nice live class with Alex and Andrew Mackie. Is that his name? Andrew Mackie? Anthony Mackie. And he is, of course, Captain America in the new movie. He's the new version of Captain America. And that did drop on 210. But why didn't it drop with the rest of the challenge? And why didn't they make it clear it was going to drop?
Right.
If that's your that's your
build
deal,
up to it.
Yes.
Do these and then you cap it off. No pun intended.
Yeah,
except it was totally intended.
And I know that a lot of people thought or had heard there was another class coming. I get that. But it's kind of on Peloton to make it clear. We shouldn't really be guessing that. And also, I really expected better classes. What exactly about a stretch makes that a superhero thing?
You got to limber up before you fight crime.
And some people think it's as simple as what the people were wearing that these classes got chose, because in some of the classes, they're wearing red, white, or blue, and they think that that's literally how they chose these classes, and maybe it was. It is just, I've never seen something that came across so lazy on a challenge. I mean, and it's everywhere. Everyone is complaining about it. This is not a me thing. This is everybody thing.
Right.
Of course, the Redditors, you know how they are.
Yes.
They were the first to jump in, but Peloton got zero sympathy over on Peloton. And the word lazy, the amount of times that lazy has come up is crazy. But then you got to wonder, is it laziness or is there something going on? Maybe you guys just might have gotten rid of a few extra people that might need their jobs back.
Right.
Because then they release the new challenge called Get to Know Me.
Right.
Which, first of all, I was get to know who? That was my first thought.
Yeah.
I hadn't read it yet. I just saw the headline.
Yeah.
So the idea of it is great. It's what almost every community in Peloton on Facebook or on Instagram has done over the last 7 years. Take a class with every single instructor.
Right. Yeah.
And Peloton thought, hey, we finally have teams, so let's do a challenge. I think that's what they were trying to do.
Okay.
And so now you can take a class with every single one of the instructors and get a special badge for it. But wait, there's some problems. Number one, the first day that they came out, you couldn't find them. If you search, you still can't find them. They are under collections. That's where you have to go. And then when you do pull up the collections, none of their names are on the classes. So there's a picture of Alex Toussaint, but it doesn't say Get to Know Me, Alex Toussaint. It just says Get to Know Me, Ride, or whatever.
And I know a lot of people out there are well, who doesn't know Alex Toussaint? Okay, but if the purpose of this is to get you to ride with instructors you don't, or take classes with instructors you don't normally take classes with, then it stands to reason some of these people are going to be people you don't recognize. But
it also seems to be a programming thing, because somebody was digging around and found out that on collections, none of them have the instructors' names on them. I have not verified that, just what I was told.
Okay.
But it's still weird. Mm-hmm. Okay. But then once you take a class, you also, the first day, were not getting a check mark saying you had completed the class. So just to recap, we have a challenge that includes you taking classes with 54 different instructors, and there were no check marks. So if you took a class yesterday or 3 days ago, you didn't know.
There's no
did
way
I
to
take
track.
it? Yeah. You got to go into each class and see. Okay. The other thing is these are all 5-minute warm-ups. Nothing wrong with that. Love it. Short and sweet, gives people easy in and out. That's great. But when they put the challenge together, they didn't have all the instructors do a similar thing. So you might take a class with one instructor, let's say Aditi, and she's like, here's some yoga. And then she does some yoga. And then you might take a class with Matt Wilpers and he's like, I used to be an accountant. And he tells you all kinds of things about him.
Right.
But only one of those is a get to know me.
Right.
And that doesn't, I don't feel that is like a knock against Aditi. I feel like, again, somebody's not doing a quality check here.
Right.
Somebody's not saying we want these to look consistent, be consistent. That's a problem. That is shoddy. And I don't feel like that's on the instructors. I just want to be real clear about that.
Yeah, it's almost like it was assembled without their input. And some of them happened to have classes where they talked about themselves and some of them didn't. Or maybe they did, but it was in a longer class.
Yeah.
And they wanted quick bursts so people could check them out.
And it's not clear. Did they record all of these brand new just for this series? Because it doesn't appear that all of them did just by looking. Maybe they did. But if there were a very clear get to know me, I'm filming this today just so you can get to know me and for the challenge, then we would know, right? There isn't that. Okay, then the other thing is when they first put up this challenge, to get a gold badge, you only had to take a class with 52 instructors. There's 54. Yeah. They've now changed it to 54.
I want to know who the two were that got left out.
I mean, I'm going to leave that alone. But it's just like, what is happening?
Yeah.
What is happening? Like, these are not difficult things. I mean, when it came to that the superhero challenge, I didn't even get into the part about how, like, if you took the classes on the first day, you didn't get a check mark. But if you took any classes not in the challenge, you got a check mark. You got a badge. Like you did something and you didn't even take the classes. It's insanity. And if you took one of the classes, they might have chosen a class from 3 years ago in the superhero challenge.
Right.
Well, if you took it 3 years ago, you got a badge now. Are you kidding me? What is going on?
That's crazy.
What is happening? Okay. So that's why your pun of being kryptonite or dog is accurate. Again, I just want to say one more time, I'm not picking on the instructors. I just feel like Peloton has done better in the past. I think they need to do better. And I could have gotten past the get to know me stuff. Like, not that big of a deal. But if you're going to partner with a multi-billion dollar partnership, you'd think somebody would hit a double or triple check on that.
Yeah.
Like, come on.
Yeah. I mean, that's a very high profile tie-in.
Yeah, I've seen all kinds of, we keep watching shows lately that we like on Philo and we actually have to watch commercials.
Oh, dear.
There are so many tie-ins to this movie.
Sure.
And they are done well.
Yeah.
That's all I'm saying. By the way, there's a Peloton tread in this movie. So Peloton could have done better.
Yeah. So from there, let's pivot to the earnings call.
Okay, well, here's the deal. Usually earnings call are like, I thought it was good, but everybody else hated it. This particular time, people were super happy. They were like, oh, and the stock went up.
Yeah.
The bottom line is that Peloton improved all of their forecast for the rest of this fiscal year. Not only did they improve the forecast, there was 2 quarters in a row of having positive free cash flow. There's going to be like actual profit in the future.
Holy cow.
And they are ahead of schedule on their cost-cutting measures. Just saying, maybe a little too ahead of schedule based on what I'm seeing with the challenges. I know they've been working hard on that, and I know that's super important, and they do need to do it for Wall Street to give them the props that they deserve. I do understand that.
Yeah.
But anyway, I've already said what I had to say there. This was the first call that the new CEO, Peter Stern, was on.
Yeah.
He like I said, he did a nice big plug for the Captain America movie. He also was very nice to his fellow coworkers, unlike good old Barry.
He was like, not warm and fuzzy.
He was not. Peter did a good job at that. He and Liz Coddington did a great job of fielding questions. The questions this time around I thought were fairly easy. They were kind of softball-y because they did such a good job of answering there wasn't a lot for people to get real, like, there wasn't a lot for people to come back at the end and
The
be like,
numbers
you
are
didn't
good,
cover this.
so what is there to complain about? Yeah.
Exactly. You know, what do we have to, what's the takeaway here? Well, there were a few big takeaways for me, and that is that Peter Stern mentioned, hey, the stuff that we're seeing with personalization, that was just like a little tiny taste, a little tiny drop in the bucket. So we're going to see a lot more of that. Also, they talked about how they are being so careful with their marketing spending. They talked about that Watt challenge, the two brothers, or ended up being three brothers, the Watt challenges. Well, that all was part of their trying to bring in men.
Right.
They said that was very successful. They said, yet again, that strength is the fastest growing modality. It's right behind the bike. And it's doing great. So they're going to keep doubling down on that. That's going to keep growing. We're going to keep having the personalization. And those were the really big things. Now, the biggest question that came out as a follow-up from people listening on the call was what's going to happen if there are tariffs that, you know, because we're hearing, well, who knows? Because we're a month in and every day it's like chaos. So I don't know what tomorrow brings, but originally,
neither do they.
Yeah, I'm real well aware. Okay, but originally, Trump had said, "Hey, we're gonna give tariffs to China and Mexico
and Canada.
Thank you. And then they ended up getting a stay on that for 30 days for
Canada and Mexico,
but not China. So Peloton said, "Hey, even if all of those got put into place, our cost of goods sold would only go up one percentage point."
Okay.
And they said, that's if all three got put into place.
Okay.
They don't have any hardware coming in from China, Mexico, or Canada. So that cost of goods sold that would increase by that 1% is actually because of Precor and apparel. That's where it would be coming from. So that I thought that was really good news, given that there's such a big question mark as what is going to happen. So I thought it was all good news.
Stock market seems to agree.
They agreed.
Yeah.
Customer satisfaction has gone from 3.1 last year to 4.3 this year. That's huge.
Okay.
Their net promoter score is up. So now they just got to keep it that way.
Yeah.
And just saying, the challenge was not a great way to start that off.
Well, especially when, the MCU applies or appeals disproportionately to men.
Right.
And so clearly, this is designed to bring in new people. It's designed to bring in male people.
And maybe their thinking is it is to bring in new people. So it doesn't matter if our classes were from a year ago. Maybe that's what they're thinking.
Perhaps.
I don't know.
Yeah, perhaps.
But I'm just saying, bring your A game. This was a big deal.
So if you've been having issues with audio when you take a class featuring a London instructor, you are not crazy.
You are not. So I guess Sam Yo recently spoke about that there had been updates to the audio, specifically in London. Now, I will also say it wasn't too long ago, a couple weeks ago, we talked about the fact that they had gotten those special ear monitors, custom ear monitors.
I do wonder if there's some sort of correlation.
Right. And maybe somehow the disconnect is it didn't go as well in London as it did in the United States. Don't know.
Yeah.
But there are people that are saying they are really struggling to hear, the London instructor specifically, that even when you change the balance, it's like they're just sounding very quiet.
Yeah.
And Samuel's a good example because he has a very quiet voice in general. So people are really struggling. So we're hoping that's something that they're going to get fixed, and hopefully soon.
It seems like something that should be a really simple fix. I mean, we deal with audio a lot around here.
I know, but think about how many terrible podcasts struggle for years before they manage to level out their sound.
That is true. So, some people just don't see the value.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And I know Peloton does see the value, but I just don't know how quickly, because I don't know how expensive it is. I don't know what all it involves.
Yeah.
Is it because of the ear things? Because if they just spent a whole bunch of money making custom ear things, that could be a problem.
Yeah, but this is pretty important to the brand.
I know.
So
I know.
While we're dealing with issues,
I feel like it's just complaint week.
You're just a blowtorch.
I know. Well, I mean, these things need to be brought up. I mean, this is what's happening.
Yeah.
This is what's happening.
Well, at least these are issues that Peloton is aware of.
That's true.
And are working on because they're the ones who report these.
That's true. That's true. Well, back on February 11th, so it's been a couple days, the team identified an issue that was forcing members to re-log in on Apple TV after their app is updated or a forced quit.
Okay.
So they're working on fixing that. And then they also had another one that said program achievements are currently not accessible. I don't know. Like now you just can't do the superhero challenge at all.
That's one way to shut you up.
Yeah. Get to know this.
Coming up after this, we're going to talk to Dr. Jenn. She has tips for going vegan or for your kids going vegan if they so choose. So stick around.
Getting the psychological edge with Dr. Jenn.
Joining us once again via the magic of Zoom Tube is Dr. Jenn Mann, licensed marriage, family, and child therapist and sports psychology consultant. You may know her from VH1's Couples Therapy with Dr. Jenn, or VH1's Family Therapy with Dr. Jenn, or her long-running radio show, The Dr. Jenn Show. She's written 4 best-selling books, including The Relationship Fix, Dr. Jenn's 6-Step Guide to Improving Communication, Connection, and Intimacy. It's Dr. Jenn. Hello.
Hi.
Hello.
It is so good to see you. I have a question from one of our listeners, and I have misplaced where I had the question, so I don't remember her name. But she was asking specifically for you to give ideas on how to help her kids become vegan, because she herself is not, and she knows that you've been doing this for a long time. So she was hoping you could give her some great ideas.
Yes, I've been doing this I've been vegetarian since I was 9 or 10 after seeing a documentary that showed the slaughterhouses, which makes me vegan for way more decades than I'd like to admit. And I have been vegan for 15 years now. And I'm also certified in plant-based nutrition from Cornell. So I have a little bit of experience on this, and there are a few suggestions. One is you want to look at what are your regular family meals that you guys enjoy together and kind of see how to veganize it. Like there are a lot of things that you can do. Like if your family likes meatloaf, there are tons of like lentil meatloaf kind of recipes where you can replace one protein for another. A lot of people initially like to switch over from like a regular chicken to a faux chicken. Like there are a lot of great meat replacements, cheese replacements. Vegan pizzas are super easy, especially at home. There are also some great books like for younger kids. There's a book called something like The Vegan Lunchbox that has the cutest little lunchbox recipes. Like every picture is so cute, and like how to do like cute little cutouts with PB&J and like all the stuff that like I always look at. I'm like, I wish I was that mom. Like I wish that like I admire those moms so much. Like I wish I could have been that mom making my child like fresh, perfect meals for every lunch. But, you know, a lot of us working moms just didn't get that one down. My kids are 18. It's kind of too late for me. But those replacements are great. Also looking at if you're someone who really likes to cook, starting to get a collection of vegan cookbooks. Chloe Casarelli is my absolute favorite. She's the one who got me started cooking, and she is an incredible, incredible cookbook author. Her recipes are very approachable. In the midst of the pandemic, I started cooking and I started with her books. They're just so approachable. There's also one that's called, I think it's 5 ingredient vegan, that is super easy recipes. That's kind of a go-to for me. There are just so many great vegan cookbooks, and really just kind of looking at a lot right now, the new recommendation, like, you know, in the olden days, we had the pyramid. Well, one of the things we've learned is that the pyramid is actually kind of corrupt, that the pyramid was created by a lot of industries that were benefiting from the pyramid. So really what we're looking at for plant-based meals is 50% of your meal coming from plants, 25% coming from a protein, 25% coming from a carbohydrate, if you're someone who is kind of looking at your food in those terms. And as you know, I'm very much about no deprivation and about really listening to your body. But also what we know now is that there are a lot of chemicals in our foods that were not in our foods decades ago that are making us sick and also preventing us from being able to really listen to our bodies well. So the less processed foods that we're eating, the more we can really tune into our own hunger and satiation cues. So I think that that's kind of a good starting point for her, hopefully. But that's what I would recommend to begin with.
Those are great suggestions. Absolutely. Yes. Thank you.
What are your thoughts on things like the Impossible Burger, things like that? I know that's got some baggage to it.
Yeah, look, my thoughts about it have evolved over time. And, I'm an ethical vegan. I don't eat meat. The number one reason is to me, if it has a face, I don't want to eat it, and I don't want to eat anything that came from it. To me, it's not much different it's no different than my pet dog or my pet cat. I wouldn't kill them and eat them. So for me, I don't eat meat because I love animals. In terms of health, there's a lot of mixed information out there. In terms of the environment, it's kind of less mixed information. If you're vegan because of the environment, you're better off having an Impossible Burger or one of the meat substitutes because of really the terrible stress on the environment from factory farming. If, on the other hand, you are vegan for ethical reasons, then it's a good choice. If you're vegan because you just want to eat as clean as possible, then it's still a processed food that isn't coming straight from the source. So I'm a believer in moderation. I'm a believer in not depriving myself. I love a good Impossible Burger, but I don't eat them all the time. Like, I don't really want to eat them all the time. But if I'm wanting a burger, that would probably be my first choice. And I really enjoy them when I do eat them.
I think that is a helpful way to describe it, because there's no way to be perfect on all of those levels. Like if you wanted to be ethical and moral and no chemicals, nothing processed, that's hard. That's really hard. Yeah. So it's good to understand where the person is coming from. I think that's very...
And, I'm really good friends with a woman named Kathy Freston, who did Oprah's Vegan Challenge, and she's written a number of really great books about being vegan. And Kathy I love her approach, especially for new vegans, because her approach is very much of love and acceptance. And like, hey, you don't have to do all of it at once. You don't have to be a perfect vegan. Nobody is a perfect vegan. And she's very much like, hey, if you're looking to gently ease into this, try not eating one animal. Like, be like, okay, I'm not going to eat pigs. Or, okay, I'm not going to eat cows, and then see how that goes, and then take another baby step. She has a very moderate, gentle approach to becoming vegan. And, again, it really depends on what is your driving force. When I first became a vegan, I read tons of the books. And one of the books I read was like the ethics of eating. And in the ethics of eating, because I was like, oh, I'm going to be a vegan. And if I'm really craving something, like cheesecake has always been my favorite food, like cheesecake and ice cream. And at the time, a lot of my favorite ice cream places 15 years ago didn't have vegan ice cream options. There were vegan ice cream options, but they weren't as exciting as they are now. And I loved Cheesecake Factory cheesecake. And I was like, okay, if I can't find a substitute cheesecake, then maybe once in a while I will eat a cheesecake. And I read this book called The Ethics of Eating. And in it, the author said, if you really feel ethically that it's wrong to eat animals and eat things that come from animals that are harmed in the process of taking that milk and eggs and stuff, then it's kind of the emotional or the moral equivalent to saying, I don't believe in stealing, but once a week I'm going to steal because I really want to. And I had one piece of cheesecake, and that kept I kept hearing that in my head, and I was like, I don't think this is for me. Like, I think that this is not in keeping with my morals and values. So again, it really depends on what your motivation is, but I give anyone a lot of credit that's making that switch, and give yourself permission to do it imperfectly. And you're going to learn as you go. And really, there's so many great people to follow on social media, on Instagram. There's so many great cookbooks. There's so many great books that are guides to becoming vegan or vegetarian for some people who want to become vegetarian as opposed to vegan. So really utilize all of the great tools that are out there to help you do this.
Awesome.
Awesome.
Thank you.
Well, thank you so much for all that. Until next time, where can people find you?
You can find me on social media, especially Instagram at Dr. Jenn Man, 2 N's on Jen, 2 N's on Man.
Wonderful. Thank
Thanks.
you.
Instructors in the news.
Eric Yeager caused quite the panic this week.
He did. I'll tell you this. People love their Eric Yeager.
Yeah.
Okay. So he innocently posted that he was packing up his apartment in London, had to move, but then he posted he was in Berlin.
Right.
And the crowds went nuts.
Yeah.
They were like, oh my God, he quit Peloton. Oh my God, he's never coming back. It's an understandable reaction. But don't worry, we're in the middle of a contract negotiation. No one's leaving till at least June.
Not negotiation. We're in the middle of a contract.
We're in the middle of a contract cycle. Thank you. So we know we have at least until June.
Yes.
And for a lot of the instructors, we have until next June. But people were panicked. So he quickly took to Instagram to say, no, I'm going back to London. I'm on holiday in Berlin, but I'm going back to London. And then he's going to be on holiday for like 2 months. So I think he's in the middle of his 12-week thing. Like,
so he's
it's
like,
a weird cycle.
So he's going to go home?
Yeah. And so he needs to find an apartment in London, which is what he was asking for people to help with.
Gotcha.
But in the meantime, he was over in Berlin. And also, even though it's a separate country, I have to remember, and other people might too, it's just a quick train ride.
It's super close. Like, it's not, in America, everything's so far apart.
You couldn't think of just being like, well, tomorrow I'll just run to New York real quick from here, from us. Like, I'm going to run to New York tomorrow and get in a new apartment. Like, that's it. No, you're not going to do that and then be back in Missouri the next day.
Right.
But you can do that in London/Berlin.
Right.
So everything's okay. Eric is staying. Phew, crisis averted.
So a crisis that is not averted.
Yeah. Hannah Corbin had a rough week. Apparently, she slipped coming out of the bathroom and she twisted her ankle. And it is bad. It looks like a big old tennis ball on the side of her ankle. Poor thing.
Yeah, that's quite the sprain.
It is. So we're glad that she's okay, and we hope that she will be all healed up very soon.
She's probably like, can I start my 12-week furlough now? Change of plans.
Somebody want to trade with me?
Yeah. Meanwhile, they're calling Eric Yeager. Furlough canceled.
You're
Hannah Corbin now.
Going back to that whole furlough confusion, just to add to it, part of the reason it also got confusing is because John Hosking is going to be in New York this week. Well, Eric or John, I'm not even clear who, because it was so crazy. One of them was like, I won't see you for 2 months. And so then everyone was like, wait, John Hosking's going to be in New York for 2 months? So it was just chaos over there.
Oh, goodness. Coming up after this, we're going to talk content. We're going to give you the TCO top 5 and give you some classes that are on our radar, so they should be on yours.
New content.
It is time for the TCO top 5, where you tell us classes and we tell them back.
It's true. Although we did a little modification this week because, this is dedicated to Tina, and Nikki ended up writing it. We had to do it on short notice. So it what we ended up doing was we sourced these all from within the TCO group so that we could meet the deadline that we needed to do. So
they're just all classes from the superhero challenge.
No, there are still very great classes on here. Just because we sourced them doesn't mean that we don't love them. The first one came from our brand new... Oh, I'm so sorry.
What are you doing?
I just got carried away.
What are you doing?
My other podcast, I don't even...
You have another podcast?
I do.
What? Without me?
It's all me talking.
Yeah.
So I forget that...
So you forget that I'm here.
No, I didn't forget you were here. I just forgot that you usually cue me in. I'm sorry.
So number 1 is our favorite Black History Month ride. Just so you know, the dejection in my voice is not because it's a Black History Month ride. I just want to make that clear.
Okay.
It's because of you.
Oh, wow. Okay. Wow. Actually, I think you would really love the playlist on here. I'm hearing that it is amazing because it was a soul ride. And we've got classes. We've got songs like Chain of Fools, Midnight Train to Georgia, like a really great playlist. Yeah. Liz Nickel brought this up. She's the one that...
Can I inject something about Midnight Train to Georgia?
Of course you can.
I saw a comedian do this once, and I saw him do it live. I've never seen it done again, but I just absolutely love it. Then the next time you listen to Midnight Train to Georgia, right? Like this was Gladys Knight and the Pips are like like interjecting things to
Yeah.
like as exclamations to what she's saying. Next time you listen to the song, approach it with the idea that Gladys Knight sings a line and then the Pips are actually mocking her for doing this.
Oh.
And it totally works, but it completely changes the song.
Yeah, I bet it would.
And it's hysterical.
Okay, a
So-
little mansplaining.
Yeah. So every time I listen to the song now, I hear it as the Pips making fun of Gladys Knight for wanting to go back to Georgia for this guy. And it's really funny. So anyway, I just want to put that out there.
All right. Well, anyway, one of our brand new helper bees, Liz Nickel, she wrote that she loved this ride. She said, I don't typically love soul music, but every single song Allie played, I wanted to sing along with. It reminded me so much of my childhood. Her energy was amazing and she was inspirational and motivational in the things that she said. It felt as if she was glowing through the screen. It was also a super workout, like a 7.5 for me. That class was taught on February 9th by Allie Love.
Okay. And number 2, if it's okay if I continue to do
I'll
these.
let you go
Okay.
ahead.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
No problem.
Your favorite core class.
Okay. So this is a core class that is taught by Robin Arzon, and it features a foam roller. It was a 15-minute core strength taught on January 29th. Now, Stephanie Latos, she loved this class, and she said, have we shouted out this class with the foam roller? She's wearing pink, the next level for core connoisseurs. So we've got yellow, and then we've got pink.
So pink is a notch below yellow.
Just a notch.
So it's still tough, but
It's
not
tough because it's core.
right.
Like if she was wearing yellow and doing core, forget it. Like you're not going to make it.
No one would do it.
It's just not going to happen. Yeah.
Number 3, your favorite new app feature.
Okay. So technically not a class, right? But Marie K. Burdick loved this, and she loved the personalized plans feature. Now, this has been out on the guide for a while. They recently just rolled it out to the app, and it's only on the app, so you can't get it everywhere else. But we have an entire how-to guide if you need it to get started.
Okay.
But Marie says she wanted to shout out the personalized plan. It was her second week into it. It's a great mix of classes to choose, flexibility with adjusting the schedule and suggesting classes I probably never would have picked on my own. It is kicking my butt. That's great.
Yeah.
And Stephanie Latos concurred, saying, I agree. It's such a nice feature for those of us who can benefit from structure mixed with many fun class options. I was just going to say, I love that people are enjoying it. Sorry, Dom.
Sorry. Just trying to. Number 4, your favorite 45-minute ride.
Okay, so Jess King taught this on January 6th, and Tom Gilday suggested this class. He said, the 45-minute house ride with Jess King was spicy, challenging mix of climbs and flat road intervals. It's a great workout. You'll be glad you took the class when you're done. Sounds like you're going to need an extra towel, though.
And number 5, you're unstackable. It's a ride.
Okay, so Karen Smith, she's responsible for this unstackable. It was a 30-minute Tabata with Olivia Amato, which Olivia is known for being the glitter assassin. Okay, you add Tabata into this mix, we got a burner. Now, this is all the way back from 10/4 of 2021. She said that this is definitely unstackable. It is a typical Tabata format, but she kept the resistance high with cadence pushes. Karen had thought she was going to just do a short 5-minute core class after, but she could not bring herself to do it after. Worth going back into the archives for.
We will now turn our eyes to This Week at Peloton, where they have a strength stack with RAD.
Yes. Okay. So he did a whole stack. I say a whole stack. It's 2 classes. It's a 20-minute glutes and legs, and then it's followed by a 5-minute core. And so that was going to be live. So that's really cool because it's nice to have a stack where you're just like boom, 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 boom. There's also some other classes coming up this week. The 7 Continents recap run with Bex Gentry. That was supposed to drop on demand today, Wednesday.
Okay.
It's going to be a 60-minute run where Bex is going to reflect on her experience running across all 7 continents. So
nice.
that's going to be one to do. It's also going to be an audio guided scenic collection. So if you have trouble finding it, remember it's in the audio. So probably outdoors.
Gotcha.
That's where you're going to find that.
We also have morning mobility with Maddie Majacomo for fans of alliteration.
Well, it was his first morning mobility class, and it's designed to help with movement and flexibility. And that is going to be available on demand on February 13th at midnight.
And a 45-minute mixtape ride with Jenn Sherman.
It's a crowd favorite.
I have no doubt, because it's Jenn Sherman and it's got music.
Yes. And she loves to make her mixtapes. So Sunday, February 16th, 10 a.m. Eastern, I'm sure you're going to be hearing all about her time at the Super Bowl that happened last weekend. Because, you know, she loves the Eagles and they won. So you're going to be hearing a lot about it.
No spoilers.
I mean, if people haven't watched by
it's
now.
It's still on the TiVo.
I don't even like football, and I know, so you're on your own.
I only know because we're in Missouri.
Oh, I know.
And the Chiefs lost.
I am
so
aware.
Everybody on Facebook is whining about it.
They sure are.
We will now check out the TCO radar, classes that are on our schedule and therefore should be on yours.
Yeah. So Black History Month is the entire month of February. We told you last week, but I just wanted to repeat it real quick. Peloton is dropping a lot of content from the last couple of years, but each week they are also highlighting new classes that they are going to be doing. So the Ash has this week, or she had this week, a 60-minute row class on the 9th with members in studio. That is her second 60-minute class. So that was very exciting.
Yeah.
And then let's see. On Sunday, February 9th, the Kirsten Gospel Glow Outdoor Run. And then Allie had the Supreme Soul Ride. And then Monday, Marcel had the Platinum Hip Hop Producers Run.
Okay. We also have new lane break levels.
Yes, DJ John Michael dropped a little nugget telling us we had a couple of new ones this week. And there's a 30-minute low impact. And then there is, I can't read that because it's too small. I need my readers. Let me see if I can
zoom in.
I'm trying. It's not zooming. Oh, I'm sorry. On the tread, it was a 15-minute endurance 60s pop, and then a 5-minute cool down Afro beats. And the other one on the bike, besides the low impact, was a 15-minute Latin.
Okay.
There you go. Phew.
We also have some post Super Bowl workouts, a case of the Mondays.
Yeah, so Peloton did this thing. We're also going to talk about this on the bonus too.
Yes.
We're going to do a deep dive into the marketing push that Peloton did for the Super Bowl. There was a brand new commercial that dropped, but the short version is that they had two classes that dropped on Monday, and they were directly related to the Super Bowl, and they were both called A Case of the Mondays. There was a ride with Allie and a meditation with Chelsea.
And if you can't get enough Kendrick Lamar, Peloton's got you covered.
They do. They are featuring encore classes on February 12th, and these are both from 2022, but there was a Just Sims boot camp, and there was a Tunde ride back from 2022.
And the Artist Series is spotlighting One Republic.
It sure is. There's going to be live classes this week. There's going to be a premiere from Charlotte, and from Marcel. There's also going to be a Friday premiere with Ben. So tons of content coming with One Republic.
And then there's more Black History Month stuff coming up.
Right, because we're going to have new...
Because it's a whole month.
Right.
Yeah.
So new classes for the week of the 12th. We've got Jocelyn's Black and Brilliant Walk, Cliff's Funk Body Weight Strength, and Katie's Funk Row on February 12th, and then Black and Brilliant with Camila on February 14th.
And there's all sorts of Valentine's Day classes in store for people.
Yeah, there's going to be a special walk-in talk with Maddie that's going to be hilarious. Like, it's just going to be hilarious. An R&B ride with Hannah. She's asked for crush messages to be submitted because she wants to record them. And then she said that too many people didn't understand the assignment, so she ended up not reading them. So it's really a bummer. She had to record it last week. And then, of course, we know that Club Hosky is coming to PSNY this week.
Yes.
We know that he's going to be in Matt's class. And we have the big 2-hour ride with Christian Vandeveld and Matt Wilpers. But not only that, Christian Vandeveld is also doing that same day a 60-minute class right before.
How about that?
I know.
And then finally, Selena is coming back to New York.
Yes. So here's another big thing. This is big news. So listen up, everyone. Selena has officially confirmed she is on the recording once a month plan.
Okay.
Now we have gotten indications of that. We have certainly seen that is the history of it, but she has announced on Instagram she will be at PSNY February 17th through the 23rd. She's going to teach a bunch of live classes. She's going to record that content, and then it's going to drop over the several weeks after that. She indicated there's going to be a live pace targets run, 3 live strength classes that can form an unofficial split, and some surprises as well. We are so happy to have Selena back, and just remember the instructors really want us to show our support by taking our favorite classes and reading them.
In case you missed it.
Just an FYI, Peloton apparel is having a 40% off sale.
If you spend over $150.
That's pretty easy to do.
Oh, yeah. That's two things.
Yeah.
You're done. And I just want to say it does not exclude the brand new drop of spring apparel that a lot of people really had their eyes on. There's a couple of collabs that have been excluded from recent sales. They are also not excluded from this sale.
How about that?
Mm-hmm.
And that runs through February 19th.
It sure does. I didn't know.
Yeah, I saw it in the little graphic.
Cool.
Peloton birthdays.
And then finally, we have one birthday this week. It belongs to former instructor extraordinaire. I mean, he's a former instructor. He's still extraordinaire.
He is.
Just to be clear. Ross Rayburn.
Well, happy birthday to Ross Rayburn.
And his birthday is on February 19th.
The same day that the sale ends.
Oh. Get him a little something.
Yeah.
I'm sure he wants
more Peloton.
He wants more Peloton swag, I'm sure.
Happy birthday, Ross.
And coming up after this, we're going to talk to our interview of the week, Rob Torino. So stick around.
Checking in with the Peloton community.
Joining us today via the magic of ZoomTube is Rob Torino. Hey, Rob, how's it going?
Hey guys, how you doing?
We're
nice
good.
Nice to meet you, and nice to be here.
Well, thank you so much for joining us. I would love to kind of start with some background of where in your timeline of fitness Peloton came into view and you decided, oh, this would be a good fit for me.
Fitness has been going on for quite some time for me, in and out at periods. But with Peloton, like many of us, it was brought about by COVID. I used to go to our local Y all the time, 5 days a week. And then once COVID hit, well, everybody was shut down. And in my corner there, we had this little old digital analog elliptical that I used to use, elliptical bike. And then one day I came home from walking my dog, and my daughter says, oh, we bought a Peloton. So I was like, us? Okay, cool. And we ordered it in about mid-July or so. It took at that time was like taking 2.5 to 3 months to arrive.
Yeah.
We got it sometime in, I think it was September, mid-September. I actually just looked it up recently. I forgot the actual date though. Took my very first ride with Tunde, and I've been on it every day since, except for vacations, business meetings, hernia surgery, and otherwise you can't keep me off it. Christmas morning, New Year's Eve morning, Easter morning, birthdays, you name it. I'm back there pedaling and sweating.
That's awesome. So were you always like an active person? Were you always through school when you were younger? Or is this something that you just started getting into as like you were in your adulthood?
Always been playing sports throughout my life and college career with fraternity, intramural sports, football, volleyball, softball. Always was active. We used to do some running, nothing major. Did a 5-mile Memorial Day run way like probably 35 or 40 years ago. And on the other side of this, you can't see it. We got the Peloton tread and did my very first 10K run with my good buddy Kimmy C1313. Shout out to you, Kimmy. For her 40th birthday, she says, "You name it, we're running." So I got invited by another shout out to Nurse Jackie 1818. We did a 10K run in the rain. It wasn't ideal, but to Kimmy's credit, I mean, she's a monster. She's a beast, and she stayed with me every step of the way. And so yeah, that's always been some form of active athletics, sports, exercising.
Okay.
For for a long, long time. As you could see the grades.
Hey, at least they're still there.
Yeah.
You're doing better than me.
I tell people, I got a 6. I don't have a 4 head. I got a 6 head.
Yeah. Like whenever people complain about gray hair, I'm just like, I'd love to have gray hair. I'll trade. So I thought it was funny too. The leaderboard name after the show Nurse Jackie. I don't know that I would.
Right?
Using that as my leader, but come up with something different. RN Jackie.
Well, she's a nurse and she's Jackie, so I guess it fits for her, right?
She must have taken a lot of heat when that show was on.
I would think, yeah. So I understand you have the tread and the bike. Do you take both kinds of classes? Do you do runs and biking, or do you kind of stick to the bike mostly?
Monday through Friday at about 5:25 a.m. Eastern time, we're on the tread. That ends. A quick stretch, quick change of shoes, and by about 5:45, 6:50, we're on the bike for another half hour, and then off to the races for corporate life.
Awesome.
And then Saturdays and Sundays, we're on the bike. We do Matt Wilpers whenever he's around and live. Love the 120-minute classes. And I'll not every weekend, but once or so, I'll get on the tread and run. But in the summer times, I love being out 90 degrees and better. I love it. So then I'll take the phone with me and do one of the outdoor runs or whatnot and run outside.
Okay, well, we are polar opposites. I hate the heat. I cannot stand running in the heat. I can run outside, no problem. I'd rather run in the rain. Right. I'd rather run in the cold. Like, forget that heat. Right, it's awful.
So there was a pun intended with that polar, right?
Yeah, exactly. What about strength classes? Do you do those at all?
Yeah, I tend to do OCD, so I've been avoiding them as much as possible, but Suzanne, Mom, our life, and I, for quite some time, we're doing core workouts together. So we'd hop off the bike, we'd jump, and I would do in the core. I have some lower back issues and stuff like that, and so I started doing some of the core work, and my back issues were like 99% gone. So I try and hit core every day. So I'll stick with that, and we do bike boot camps as well.
Okay. Yeah. Well, I mean, that's getting a good mix in then.
Yeah, we try.
Well, yeah, I mean, if it's every day he does tread and then hops off right onto the bike, that's... I
was thinking, though, mixing with strength, gotcha. Like I was like, because I mean, strength is such a thing.
Never enough for you.
It's not that it's not enough.
That's what it's like for me.
All you do is strength. Don't get me started, mister. So,
hey, I'm here to mediate now. I'm here to mediate, guys.
Have you ever been to the studio, Rob?
Yes. I've been fortunate enough to have 2 classes, both with Allie.
Okay.
Again, my buddy Kimmy C. 1313 and I, we met up there. It was the first time. And unfortunately, we didn't get to take the class together. But it was the very first time. I think it was like February or so of last year when I finally got into a class. The ironic thing is we were like 2 kids in a candy shop, just going gaga, taking pictures with. She got pictures with Maria Fernandez. I got Rebecca Kennedy to use the phone because I suck at selfies. And she took the selfie for me. She was like, yeah, she was so gracious. But yeah, it was cool. And we came back, went back to our houses. And the next morning, Kimmy and I had new profile pictures. The ironic thing is her profile picture, I'm more featured in it. And my profile picture, you can't even tell it's me. It's she's in the front. I'm in the background with the Peloton studios behind us. So it's pretty funny. It was like totally not planned. We were laughing hysterical the next day. But and I got later on, I got another Allie's Halloween ride this past Halloween. It was what a vibe, what an experience. It was, I'll tell you, this is Christmas morning.
But did you dress up?
There.
Did you dress up for the Halloween ride?
No. I just wore a black Peloton shirt. Didn't get dressed up. We kept it low key, but it was. I mean, got to meet so many people that I've known for years that I don't call them, Instagram friends. I don't call them Peloton friends. Jennifer out in LA, and shout out to those guys, and prayers for them.
Oh, I know.
And a long standing buddy, Colleen, Mighty Little Mom. We got to meet out there. We've been high-fiving and messaging for since probably like 2021. We got to meet up. It was total cool experience. And Britt was the host. She the Love Squad Peloton crew. Met her too. She was phenomenal. Along with Elaine, I got to give that polka dot and give her a shout out as well.
You're like
this is the shout out session. I'm sorry, guys.
You're like an instructor.
He's got a screen rolling
Yes.
by, and he's making sure to give him out all as he goes through. Very nice.
It's funny. I've never had intended or thought of it, but so many people messaging me and contact me saying, "Hey, Coach, what are we doing? Coach, what are you doing?" Because I used to spearhead so many. Some classes. We have our daily group, Soaked with Sweat, that I created that hashtag, and we ride every day. And we did a couple Team Peanut Butter on some of the PZ challenges. Had another group that was riding for a while at nighttime. So Coach is kind of my nickname, which I kind of find that kind of funny, and it's weird to hear, but people like it, so I'm like, hey, I'll ride with it.
Well, does that mean it's your leaderboard name?
Dad jokes are all over the place. I have to apologize. Excuse me?
I said, does that mean that Coach is in your leaderboard name?
No, absolutely not. Originally, if you could see it up there, it's one of our Christmas gifts that we used to do when we did the grab bags with our group. Originally, it was Robo ST. My initials are RST, Robert Salvatore Torino.
Yeah.
My nickname, college was Robbo. But currently, and probably for about almost 2.5 years now, it's Hot Girl SHIII. And how that came about was Mallory, Mad Mal, had done an Instagram post, and she was scrolling on her thing and says, "Look at all these hot girls doing their hot girl." And all these girls, and then who's in the middle there? Me. So I was like, oh my God, I'm a hot girl. I finally made it. I'm a hot girl. Yes. So I did it as a joke, and the next couple rides, the amount of followers that I was getting was like crazy.
Yeah, I bet.
Every ride I did, I was getting 10 new followers. I was like, holy Jesus, this is good. And then, there was me with my little Fido Dido biker hat. So that's currently my my leaderboard name. So, and I kept the shit curse out of it for folks like Allie and Matt. They don't, it's not in their vocabulary, which is, totally cool. So it's gotten some good play, some funny play when Camila first started, and she was doing the live Mondays. We were all like, geeking out because she was like, "Yeah, that's right, hot girl. You were waking up on a Monday morning at 6:00, doing this. This is hot girl." So it was pretty funny. I have a couple of those clips. It's hysterical. I think it.
That's funny.
It is.
It reminds me of when I worked at a grocery store forever, and I started like in the 80s, and everyone that worked in the service desk, everybody just said office girls. And
it's a long time ago.
It's a long time ago. And I got promoted.
When you had long hair, right?
Yeah, I got promoted from checker to the service desk. And then they were just like, what are we going to call them now? And I was like, I say we just keep saying office girls. Like people get mad when you couldn't say chairman anymore, right? So I'm like, I just say we stick with office girls. Fair's fair. And they were like, okay. So I was an office girl.
It's very appropriate.
There you go. We got something in common, right?
Yeah. Okay. So you mentioned...
I'm going to...
Yeah. I was not a hot office girl.
Yeah, you were just an office girl.
Yeah, I was just an office girl.
It's fair.
Yeah. So you mentioned going off to your corporate world. Just what does that entail?
I work in insurance for an insurance company doing compliance and compliance reporting for workers' comp insurance.
Okay.
Oh, okay.
So it's a gig. It pays the bills, pays the mortgage, pays the Peloton membership. So we're okay with it. We're good.
So are you the one that follows people around to make sure that they're really injured?
No. I'm the one that if we don't do our job right, they get shut down.
Oh.
For not having any insurance.
Oh, okay.
Gotcha.
So
please keep doing your job right.
I try. We try.
So I'm curious, when we were messaging before we started recording, you had said that you're kind of known for being supportive to other members of the community. You also mentioned just now that your nickname is Coach. I assume those are related, but how did you originally become the supportive person? Like, is that just something that came naturally to you, or you saw a need that needed to be filled, or how did that work?
It's just I feel in the world, too many people love to complain, love to get their notice by being negative, knocking people down. It's easier and more fun to build somebody up, to be supportive, to say, if I had a crappy workout. Well, you know what? You weren't sitting on the couch, right? So nothing is, something is something. So trying to be positive, help people out, make them feel good, make them feel better. And hey, it's a better day for me when somebody throws you back a smile, says thank you, says I needed that. It just makes life better. Positive is positive, negative is negative. It's just in the words right there.
Yeah. What is your take on?
Just came up with that one.
I like it. I'm curious what your take is on the official Peloton page on Facebook then.
Well, I don't go on Facebook.
Okay.
I'm strictly an Instagram guy. Facebook had gotten too political. It was just, I got caught in a whirlwind with people, and all kinds of crap was happening, and I just don't deal with it.
Okay.
So social media, Instagram is where I'm at. I peek my head in Facebook every now and then, for a friend or, my kids, but I stay off of that.
Okay. But
I like the Peloton. I love the pages on Instagram.
I was just curious because what people refer to as the OPP, the official Peloton page, which is actually a group, not a page, but it used to be a super supportive group. It used to be very much what you were describing, and the bigger and bigger Peloton has gotten, the more nasty and a cesspool that place has become. So you could post something as simple as the sky is blue, and then people will just lose their and go off, and it's just become really awful over there. So I was just curious. There are still very positive people in that group, and but they are a lot harder. Drowned out. They are hard to find.
So that's why I'd rather be hot girl than lose my.
I understand.
It works out better for me.
I like that.
So, do you have a preferred instructor?
Not really. I mean, there's a couple instructors I won't say that I won't take, but I mean, if you throw Ali, Tunde, Matt Wilpers, Dennis, Alex, if you say go take a class, I'm gonna have to close my eyes and do eeny meeny miny mo, because I mean you get a sweat with all of them. They're a vibe. They all bring their own little thing to the table, and it's if they're screaming it out and shouting you out on the leaderboard out there, I'm happy with them.
That's fair.
Yeah, absolutely.
What about on the tread? Any favorite instructors on the tread?
Ooh, we got a couple there. Totally enjoy Selena Samuel on the tread. I would love that she would come on the bike boot camp along with Jocelyn Thompson out in London. Bex, jump on the bandwagon there, right? Everybody like Bex Gentry. Maria Fernandez, I enjoy hers, and Matt also.
Yeah, lots of great instructors.
So, do you have any advice for people just now?
I call him Matt like he's my buddy.
There's that parasocial relationship.
Yeah, I think most Peloton users are guilty of things like that. You know?
Totally.
So do you have any advice for people just now entering the world of Peloton?
Be consistent. Don't get frustrated. Do you. I mean, I tell people that all the time, if they had a problem with the bike, they got a different bike, they had a bad day. I was like, they say it themselves. Today's not the same day as yesterday. You may have had a PR yesterday, but not today. Just stay the course, give it your best that day. And just show up tomorrow. I always tell people they like to, I'm celebrating my milestone, my 100, my 500, my 1,000. I'm like, to me, the big one is number 2, 501, 1,001, because you can easily get complacent because you hit that milestone. You've done so many, but showing up that next day and then, just keep on going, just, every day, just no matter what you got. I mean, there's been quite a few times, especially Sundays, I like to take as my pretty much as my relaxed day. I mean, I've just gotten on there with a pair of sneakers and just did something, So just stay the course. Don't give up. Show up for 501, 1,001, 1,501.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I always say, especially when you're like, I don't want to work out. I'm like, those are the most important ones to do.
Right.
Well, Rob, thank you so much for taking time out of your day to join us. Before we let you go, let everybody know where they can find you in all the places if you would like to be found.
Yeah, sure. On the leaderboard, it's Hot Girl She, and that's SHIII, 3 I's. On the leaderboard, I got my Instagram on there. It's R Torino 1965. Hit me up, follow me. I'll follow you back right away. We'll get on the leaderboard and we'll high five away. I got to warn you, if you ride with me, you're not getting one high five. You're probably going to get about 1,001 high five. So
that's a lot of high fives.
I love doing it. People love it. And I tell people, hey, if it's annoying, let me know. And I had one person say a little bit too much there, Torino.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much.
Yes, thank you very much.
Thank you. My pleasure.
The Clip Out.
So I guess that brings this episode to a close. Until next week, where can people find you?
People can find me on Facebook and Blue Sky and Threads and Instagram at Clip Out Crystal. Not to mention the Peloton leaderboard.
And you can find me on Blue Sky and Threads at Tom O'Keefe Jr. and on Facebook at facebook.com/Tom O'Keefe. You can find the show online at facebook.com/The Clip Out while you're there. Like the page, join the group. And of course, don't forget our Patreon, patreon.com/The Clip Out, where for $5 a month, you get all sorts of bonus content and we like you a little extra. So that's it for this one. Thanks for tuning in. And until next time, keep pedaling
and running
and rowing.
Bye.
Clip in, set yourself